I think the Alliance is different from a lot of other jazz groups for many reasons. It is a jazz genre, but I'd say it's very heavily influenced by more modern stuff, rock, funk, and basically, you know, we're not exactly old guys. It's a lot of the stuff that we've grown up from with the late 70s and 80s and even in the 90s. We've decided that we are taking the traditions of jazz and mixing in the things we've grown up with, the things that have been created since, you know, the newer funk, rock, even rap. We don't rap on the album, but there's elements of all that in there. And I think you combine all of those things together and you get a jazz group that's much, much different from anything else that's going on now.
This group is unique because it is, for one, all original music, all of Shawn's conceptions. And I think it's different because there's so many of us and it's such a unique instrumentation. You don't ever really see two double basses or two French horns in a group, ever.
I think all of us in the group are put into places where we're having to approach our instruments differently and think differently about our instruments. You know, you don't see too many contexts where you have, you know, two upright bass players and two French horns in the same group. That's actually been was actually an interesting challenge because rarely do you have that kind of instrumentation.
The instrumentation is definitely different. We have two French horn players, and I challenge you to find many jazz bands that have a French horn player, let alone two. We also have two upright bass players that kind of go back and forth in the role of comping, walking, as well as bowing and playing melodies. So it really gives us the flexibility of both having a string section and with having two separate rhythm sections, so we're not doing the same old thing.
The Alliance is going to be really interesting. It's a lot of really complex writing, and the fact that they're just an interesting instrumentation. I mean, you have vibes and guitar, which is hardly ever used concurrently, and especially when you add two French horns and individual parts for two basses. It's going to be pretty cool.
Also, we have a vocalist who's really not singing vocals. We're looking at her more as like a horn player, and she's just singing melodies as opposed to your standard vocalist in the front singing the lyrics.
You don't typically see jazz bands or creative music bands with like two basses or you know, French horns.
The instrumentation is essentially unheard of. We're starting from scratch and creating as we go. And Shawn's writing style is very unusual. I do a lot of score study and composition study, being a director, music director myself, and his style of writing is something I've never come across before.
Two French horn, two basses, electric guitar, vibraphone, drum set, two saxophones, and a vocalist. So that is just weird. and cool at the same time.